Hello, I'm Harry Riley. Welcome to Harry's 10-Minute Tales. This is called The Box That Growled by Harry Riley. A Derbyshire village, England, 1830. Oh my God, what are we going to do? I didn't mean to kill him, it just happened in self-defence. I didn't even know the chisel was in my hand. It was all of a blur. It's not my fault. He came to kill me. He said so. See, there's the knife he dropped as he fell. What can we do? I'm ruined. They'll hang me this time, that's for sure. First of all, stop your blathering, Arthur, and help me drag him across. It's dark outside, and I'm sure nobody will have seen him come into the barn, so we have all night to sort things out. Thank God I've got you, Edith. You can always see things with a clear head. The dead man lay on the earthen floor of the barn that served as a workplace for the Connellys' small carpentry business. One part, just to the right of the door, had been sectioned off for use as the lucrative funeral parlour, where Edith Connelly did her cleaning and laying out of the dead. Being a practical woman, she had developed skills needed in preparing a corpse for burial. Her respected services were regularly in demand in this closed mining community, where sudden death from pit accidents was commonplace. Arthur would collect the corpse on his flat delivery barrow and bring it to the barn, where Edith would prepare the body on the long wooden trestle table. She would wash the deceased and close the eyes, using old pennies to weigh them down. In the meantime, husband Arthur would be engaged in constructing a simple coffin. The two businesses dovetailed together very nicely, and this night Edith had a plan. The thin-waisted body of an old man was in the funeral parlour, washed and shrouded, ready for imminent burial on the morrow. The funeral of Mortimer Rogers was a quiet affair. He had outlived most of his kin, and his life had never amounted to a great deal, having spent most of his time, and what little money he had, in the Nag's Head public house at the top of the common. His family had been born and bred in this little village, and it was to the village church of St. Martin's and All Angels that his coffin was taken, directly from the old barn. 4 strong pallbearers were provided by the parish, free of charge, and a few curious old women joined the publican of the Nag's Head for the simple service. The vicar droned on about them losing a brother, and the publican shed a tear or two, no doubt more for the loss of future business than compassion for the dear departed. It was as they were steaming into the rousing chorus of Rock of Ages that it happened. The coffin started to growl and sway about. This was most unseemly, and the vicar was not amused. Coffins should be seen and not heard. The congregation stopped singing, and all eyes swivelled round to the rear of the church, where Arthur Connelly stood, petrified, rooted to the spot. In spite of being violently elbowed by Edith, the carpenter seemed incapable of movement. The Reverend finally grasped the nettle, and dashing down from his pulpit, began to remove thumb screws from the coffin lid. As the last screw was withdrawn, the top started to levitate and crashed to the stone floor. The shrouded corpse suddenly sat bolt upright, and sprouting a third arm, waved it about pleadingly. This was too much for the superstitious old ladies, who collectively screamed and covered their heads with their Sunday aprons, desperate to shield themselves from this dreadful abomination. The vicar, though, was made of sterner stuff. Having presided over a good many burial services, he was not to be spooked by such strange happenings. His quick mind soon registered that the growling, an extra arm, belonged to a second occupant of the casket, one who had no right to be there at all. He called the shaken pallbearers to assist him in removing Mortimer so they could view the noisy occupier. Knowing the game was up, Edith Connelly approached the churchman, and taking him aside, quietly revealed the dreadful events that had overwhelmed them both. 2 of the pallbearers lifted the semi-conscious Tom Pearce out of his premature resting place and half carried him to the vestry, where he sat down and was given a drink of water. A dark red stain had dried down his shirt front from the superficial neck wound, but remarkably he soon appeared clear-headed again, and was able to take in his surroundings. Frog marked into the vestry by his wife, Arthur Connolly timidly met the eyes of the man he had tried to kill, and mumbled his apology. The victim's earlier blood-curdling snarl was replaced by an angelic smile. At the point of death, Tom Pearce had undergone a strange transformation, and after a further gulp of holy fount water, he proved he was now a born-again Christian. "No, I don't need a magistrate. Arthur is forgiven. Isn't life wonderful?"